What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering stories that was in the live stream. This is the Am I the Arsehole stories that was in it, and I've just tidied them up so you can just listen to them at your leisure when you want to. So let's just crack straight on with it. This story is from Am I the Arsehole, Mum Uninvited. Am I the arsehole for uninviting my mother from my wedding after she called me indecent for having plastic surgery? My 31 male, partner of 11 years Sarah, 32 female, was in a car accident 3 years ago that led to her having scars across her torso, left arm and jaw. She has been hiding them with makeup, but you could still feel them and they made her very self-conscious. We had talked about her having them removed before we got married, as she admitted she wanted to put off getting married due to them. At Christmas 2019, I got an unexpected bonus from work, and as we already had a substantial amount set aside for a wedding, I suggested we use the bonus to pay for plastic surgery. This went ahead, and Sarah is now much happier with how she looks. She still wears a bit of makeup to hide a few small lines from the plastic surgery, but they will fade to white with time and be less noticeable. Currently, they're still quite pink. We had been planning for our wedding in October, and she recently went dress shopping with my mother, her mother, and her sister. At the shop, my mother saw the scars and inquired about why they look so different from her original scars. Sarah explained about the plastic surgery, and then my mother didn't mention it again, so we didn't think it was a big deal. Until yesterday, when I was at my parents discussing the business Dad and I co-own, and she butted in telling me it was immoral to marry someone as indecent as Sarah, and that it was disgusting that she had plastic surgery, etc, etc, etc. There was a massive argument, and I told her if she was going to talk about Sarah like that, then she wasn't invited to the wedding, at which point she broke down in tears and I left. Now half my family is pissed at me for uninviting and upsetting her. Am I the arsehole? Now this is one of those clear cut not the arseholes from me, simply because you were looking after Sarah's well-being. Obviously it's been affecting her for a very long time, and when you had the opportunity to help her out and she was down with it as well, you wasn't saying the scars bothered you before or anything like that, which is absolutely fantastic. So you was just supporting her, so well done to you, and I don't blame you for uninviting your mother. What is she on about? Seriously. And Angel Islington says, not the arsehole. First of all, I want to give you some respect here. It's clear that the scars didn't bother you at all, but you recognise how they are affecting Sarah and her self-esteem, and that you both talked about it open and were happy for your bonus to go towards her surgery, for her more than you, if you understand. And also, respect for you for speaking up for Sarah and defending her. It wasn't as if she had something cosmetic, and even if she had it, it's still her body and her choice. Sarah was in an accident which damaged not only her body, but the way she sees herself. And I bet you're the kind of guy who tells her she's beautiful, but she didn't feel it. Now she's got some of what she has lost back for her. Not the arsehole, and it's a shame your mum's reaction is to say it's immoral. And KNG Lady says, not the arsehole, good on you for defending your fiance. Your mum was out of line, and would have been even if the plastic surgery wasn't for scarring. And Quiet says, plastic surgery is not a moral issue. Reconstructive plastic surgery, doubly so. Your mum sounds like a bit of a creep, so concerned about your wife suddenly being more confident and happier. She needs to do some real introspection. Not the arsehole. Now what do you guys make of this one? And this one comes from Indy Quinn. Am I the arsehole for asking my partner's sister to leave our baby shower? Okay, due to COVID, my pregnancy has been a very lonely and challenging experience so far. It was also unplanned, but not unwelcome. Just happened to be sooner than we expected, so I didn't expect us to be in this position currently. Anyway, so I, female 23, and my partner, male 24, felt like if one normal thing should happen still, it's a baby shower, just with a very limited attendance, restricted to family only and situated outside of his family home, since the garden is big enough. I was only looking forward to this because it meant seeing people and being able to be excited over my pregnancy, after being down for a while over the state of the world and how we're going to manage it all. Anyway, my partner's sister and I have never gotten along that well. She's a bit withdrawn, she has quite a few issues she's working through in her own life, and she lacks confidence, and I think she's always resented me for being so accepted in the family and treated like a second daughter. But that last part is only a suspicion I have. To the main point, at the baby shower, she didn't get drunk per se, but she did get tipsy, and I overheard her talking to her older sister, and she was saying things like, it's selfish to have a baby in this world. How she doesn't think we're ready, and how she'd hate to throw my life away having a kid so young. Now, she didn't mean for me to hear this, but I got very upset at her attitude. I explained what happened to my partner, and he said I should do what made me comfortable, and that it was our day. I did talk to her very briefly. She stated that it was a private conversation, that she's entitled to her opinions about pregnancy. She even said that it was unplanned, so could I really be that mad for what she said? So there was no apology given, only a bad attitude towards my feelings. So I did cut the conversation short by interrupting and asking her to go. So I asked her to leave, and this caused a scene with her and surprisingly my partner's father after she refused. They felt like it was unfair and that she should be cut some slack because she was a bit drunk, not in a great place, and didn't mean for me to hear any of that. They said I was ruining a nice family meeting by causing unnecessary drama. My partner is completely on my side, but I worry they're right by saying I overreacted and deliberately created tension within our family. This whole situation has really upset me, considering the times we're living in. Family is everything. Am I the arsehole? And we're starting right away with RB1327 saying everyone sucks here. She's allowed her own opinions about having children. Not sure why her remarks were even shocking. You have admitted here the pregnancy was unplanned, but that's not appropriate baby shower chit chat, even with her own family. You could have discussed this with her another time instead of ruining the party for everyone and potentially your relationship with your future in-laws. Even better would be to ignore it altogether. How did you even overhear a private conversation between two sisters? And For Thanks says, while I understand where you are coming from, the problem was you tried to kick her out of her parents' home. That makes it dad's business too. And here Fishy Fishy says, if you really mean your statement that family is everything, then you're a bit the arsehole. She shouldn't have said what she said, and I totally understand why after you were upset. But since it was sort of a family thing in the family home and you feel that family is everything, maybe kicking her out was a little too much. It would have been better to have a conversation with her after. Everyone sucks, kind of. It won't make your relationship with her better, which is also her own fault. Mostly. And now, what do you guys think of this one? And this story is from Is the Sun. Am I the arsehole for not giving back my cousin's dog after babysitting it? I, 21 female, have been watching my cousin's 29 female puppy for just about 2 months now. My cousin adopted the puppy, her name is Delilah, from the shelter 2-ish months ago. My cousin at the time was living in an apartment complex that didn't allow pets. My cousin was aware of this, but decided to get the dog anyway. Surprise, she gets in trouble with the building a few days after adopting Delilah. They tell her either the dog leaves or she moves out. My cousin talked to different members of the family and asked if anyone could watch Delilah while she looked for a new place to live. Nobody was able to take the dog in, so I offered to take her because I didn't want the poor thing to go to the shelter. I go pick up Delilah and my cousin doesn't have any supplies to give me, just what is left of the dog food and her tags. Whatever, I take Delilah to where I'm living and get her settled. I go to the store and get her a collar, leash, bed, new food, bowls, toys, etc. I'm spending my own money, but I don't care because I want this puppy to be happy and comfortable. A week passes, and then more weeks pass. My cousin doesn't communicate with me often. I try to check in with her, and she says she's working on finding a place. After several weeks, my cousin said she found a new apartment to move into. She sends the info to show me. It very obviously states they do not allow pets. What the hell? I point this out to her and she insists they might change their mind since Delilah is so well behaved. I was the one who had to train her since she was living with me. I don't hear from my cousin for a while again. Here we are now, about 2 months later. I'm absolutely best friends with this dog. I love her more than anything. She's a quick learner and an absolute sweetheart. We've been on vet visits, I've been grooming her, spending my own money on everything she needs so I can take very good care of her. My cousin contacts me a few days ago and says she's ready to take Delilah back. She tells me about her living situation and that she is living with her boyfriend and his buddies at their place. To make a long story short, they aren't a good crowd, and I didn't think it was a good idea for Delilah to live there. I told my cousin that I was sorry but I felt uncomfortable sending Delilah there, and that I have been caring for her and spending all of my own money on her for 2 months, and frankly, I wanted to keep her. My cousin was disgusted with me and called me a lot of swear words which I will not be repeating. She hasn't spoken to me since, but hasn't made any attempt to get Delilah back either. I've been getting messages and calls from other cousins and aunts calling me a thief and saying I'm a horrible person. Am I the arsehole for not returning the dog? Also, I'm not worried about legal trouble. My family wouldn't do that, and let's just say they don't have a good track record with the law. And the edit says, my cousin has a track record of adopting animals and then sending them back to the shelter or just getting rid of them. I don't know what happens to them. She's been through multiple dogs and cats. This is why I am uneasy. Also, I would just like to point out that I openly told my cousin I would like to keep the dog. I didn't say anything like, I'm keeping her and I don't care what you say, or anything like that. And we're not going to cover the comments on this one because I just want to see what comes out of the vote. So what do you guys think of this one? And this story is from Working East 3705. Am I the arsehole for telling my stepsister I am not honoured she wants to name her daughter after me? My stepsister, Lily, informed me she was pregnant and intended to name the baby Magnolia after me. She came over to my house while I was there to show me everything and I was like, you will be a glowing mother. The moment she left the room, her husband Danny asked if I was okay with it. I tried to change the subject, but he said, seriously, do you want the baby named after you? Lily said, you would be thrilled. You don't look thrilled. I told him no, I did not want the baby named for me. Lily came back in. We never brought it up again. But when she announced the baby on Facebook, the name was Vanessa Rose, after my mum and Danny's mum. Lily told the whole family over dinner that Danny has 4 sisters and thought it would be unfair to pick one name and not others, and they only want to have one baby, so they stuck with grandma's. A few months before Vanessa was born, Lily asked me if I was upset the name change happened. I said no. She asked if I had said anything to Danny. I said yes because I am not going to lie. Obviously, he told her the truth. She got upset and asked why. I said that I just did not like people naming things for me, whether it's a puppy, a person, or a monument. It felt like social pressure, especially if I did not name my child for them. She got quiet and said, you aren't going to name your baby for me? I said no. If we had a daughter, I was going to give her a whole new name. My husband has a name he likes, and I like it as well. I just said it felt weird to do honour names for a living person. And she got upset and left. Things have gotten back to normal, but Danny said she was crying hard when she got home and that I was maybe too honest, but I feel a bit like an arsehole. Am I the arsehole? And Held On By a String says, not the arsehole, the fact that your sister wants to name her baby after a living relative is weird. It's also especially weird that she expected you to name your child after her. And Yachty Wannabe says, no one's an arsehole here, I guess. I think her stance is weird. Your stance is a little extreme, but you know what? You're both entitled to your opinions about it. Telling her how you feel about it doesn't make you an arsehole, and her crying doesn't make her an arsehole, and she and her husband did change their baby's name, so yeah. An Extra Ketchup Please says, no one's an arsehole here. You're entitled to your feelings and that's 100% okay. You told the truth and there were consequences to that. However, she also had the right to be hurt that you don't feel the same way she does about naming children. I can see why it would really suck to hear that from your own family. I simply see 2 people with different preferences and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, what do you guys think of this one? This story is from Am I the Arsehole Cabin 3456. Am I the arsehole for losing it after finding out my wife let her sister and her boyfriend stay at my late wife's cabin? I lost my late wife to brain cancer. All her life she was living healthy and always loved spending time travelling and going on road trips. She was always an outdoor person, although she had a demanding career. She had a high paying job while I was earning money that barely paid for bills. We were married for 5 years. We bought a cabin together that we used for holidays and weekends. After her passing, I couldn't set foot in it for a whole year. Everything was the way she left it. I don't go there often, but only on big occasions when I need to feel closer to her. My family suggested I sell it, but I couldn't bring myself to do that. The idea of selling it makes me feel like I was losing her all over again. So I left it as it is. I married my now wife 6 months ago. I have 2 stepkids that are filling my days with joy and comfort, but lately my in-laws have been having issues, especially my sister-in-law. She lost her job and she and her boyfriend had nowhere to live. We invited them to our place for 2 months, then my brother-in-law took them in. My wife days ago told me brother-in-law had an argument with sister and kicked her and her boyfriend out. I asked what happened, she told me about 2 weeks ago. I then asked where her sister and her boyfriend were staying, and she took her time to answer. I asked what's wrong, and she flat out told me that her sister's been staying at my late wife's cabin for 2 weeks now. I was stunned when I heard, and I asked her for more clarification. She said she gave her sister a copy of the key to the cabin to stay there till she finds a job, then proceeded to say she didn't tell me because it wasn't a huge deal. I couldn't help but lose my temper. I told her that she had no right to hide this from me and let her sister into the cabin knowing how I'd feel about it. She said my reaction was the exact reason why she hid it from me. I called her selfish and inconsiderate of my feelings, but she argued about wanting to help her young sister. her younger sister, and said I was the selfish one for not helping family during tough times. The kids walked into the kitchen, I just stopped arguing and walked out. My wife followed me. I demanded she call her sister and tell her to move out and hand over the key. My wife looked shocked, saying she expected me to react this way but not go as far as demand that her sister moves out, and called me cruel for making her look bad to family. We kept arguing till her sister moved out and brought the key. My wife packed her things and went to stay with her parents. She told me that my late wife was obviously more important to me than my family and that she won't come home until I get my priorities straight. I haven't visited the cabin after her sister left. I haven't been feeling well these days and I'm not ready to go see how the place looks now. I just need time to calm myself down to be able to go there. My wife is at her parents' house and she took the kids with her. I miss the kids and she won't let me speak to them, which is another problem because my heart literally feels heavy when I'm away from them. I miss them so much and can't stand the house without them there. I think the big clue was like, she said it wasn't a big deal and then goes on to say that she didn't tell you because she knew you'd act like this, because she knew that it would hurt your feelings. What kind of person is that to do someone? It just lacks total empathy to not discuss it with you beforehand, knowing that you're going to feel bad about it. You might have, who knows what OP would have done if she actually approached OP and said, look, sister's in a real bad place. Do you think there is any way around this? And OP might have turned around. He sounds like a very logical type of guy. And even if he didn't say you can't use the cabin, he might have come up with another solution if he was given the chance, right? But no, wife went behind his back. And then after all this, she's not letting you talk to the kids anymore. She's keeping the kids away from you, which is, assholish behavior to me. That's disgusting. Weaponizing children like that in a relationship is always disgusting, in my opinion. Dharma Initiative rep says, is it too late for an annulment? Not the arsehole. And what about Tiddy says, she didn't tell you because she knew it was a big deal. Even if the cabin had nothing to do with your late wife, it's your cabin, so it's messed up that she let a person not use it but live in it without asking you first. And Unicorn Don't Care says, not the arsehole, so which is it? She didn't tell you because it wasn't a big deal, or hid it because you would react badly. Her sister couldn't hack it at the brother's house, so why would you trust him at the cabin even if you were emotionally ready? Your wife is selfish, and maybe look closer at why you two are married. And Lama Aloka says, everyone sucks here. Your wife should have asked you and was intentionally deceptive to avoid a reaction. You don't seem to have done the grief work you need in order to actually have your new wife as your partner and priority. That's an interesting point as well. And one more from Chirplet saying, not the arsehole, your current wife absolutely knew she was doing something wrong and that it would upset you, which is why she hid it. That is not her cabin, it is yours. It is clear from your post you have made the importance of the cabin crystal clear to your current wife. Your current wife is jealous of your deceased ex-wife and unwilling to allow you the private space you need to grieve your loss. This was a total asshole move on her part, and your feelings are valid. She lied to you, covered it up, and also violated your sacred space. Now what do you guys think of this one? And this story is from Throw Babysitter Aunt. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister that I would not be babysitting her daughter until I feel like she is trustworthy again? I am 20 female, my niece, sister's daughter, is 2 female, and my sister is 24 female. Before anyone asks if the father is in the picture, we honestly don't know because she didn't want to talk much about it. There was a period after a failed engagement when her fiance called off and broke up with her, where she was engaging in Tinder online dating. She says she knows she didn't have the best actions but was trying to heal from being dumped. So she's been raising her daughter alone and sometimes with the help of her online dating app dates. Because of that, due to COVID struggles, she asked me if I could babysit for her. Sometimes it would be while she went to work or went to meet a date. She used to bring them to her place, but she said she couldn't care for the baby while trying to enjoy her date and time with her matches. I enjoyed spending time with my niece until she began to be awful with time management. After some point when I began babysitting, there are days I came to work late or didn't go to work at all because she showed up hours late or just never showed. She had called me when it was too late for me to go to work, that she got caught up with her date and decided to stay at his place, so I'd have to stay with my niece for her safety since she can't be alone. I'm at this point where it's literally affecting my college courses and work, because I can't keep being late because she once decided to go on a spontaneous last minute lunch date with her match, or got caught up at his place and never let me know. I try to be nice about it because I know she's hurting from her failed engagement, but I don't want to keep risking my education and career. I also can't keep relying on others for help, like contacting our parents to take over the few times because I can't just not go to work since she couldn't come back to her daughter. My sister is now upset that she won't be able to have a dating life and is mad at me. I told her I wouldn't be able to keep doing this anymore. Am I the arsehole for not babysitting for my sister until she is more reliable? Come on now. And we'll start off with Mel0278 saying, not the arsehole, your sister flaked and is prioritising dick over being a good mother and caring for her daughter. Like what the hell? Who dumps their kid onto someone else while they go off to have fun and not care about their kid at all? She's costing you your own education and finances, and it will suck whatever happens next, but you can't keep putting their bad actions over your important priorities. And Majestic says, not the arsehole, your sister is risking not only her life but the life of her daughter by bringing random men into her house. You not babysitting for her are the least of her problems. You don't see anything wrong with her bringing random men around her child. I wouldn't babysit, period. And Warrior Muffinhead says, not the arsehole, I would consider calling CPS. Her bringing random Tinder dates around her infant daughter is terrifying. Your sister needs help and it doesn't sound like she's in the right mental state to be a parent right now. You may want to discuss with your parents on taking temporary custody. To which OP replied to it saying, some people have suggested this, but I don't know where we even begin or if we have the finances for it. We brought it up one time of our concerns, but she'd have boyfriends of a few months where they'd help with her kid. And with us helping too, she said she technically isn't neglecting her child, who is in a cared for position. It feels like a lose-lose situation for us because either of our nieces' well-being is at concern, or we wouldn't stand a chance in trying to get them both help. And now I turn this one to you guys. Once again guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys. Much love.